Okay. Hello, this is Leah from Find Your Tribe Online Authentic Marketing Strategies. And today we are here using Zoom. And basically this is one of our Learn It Live training sessions. And we're just getting started. This is our first one. So thank you to Kaylin for being here. Appreciate it. And so recording this just so I can share with you all some information. Basically, you'll see that there's me and Kaylin is here. However, she's having a small issue with getting her camera to operate today, function properly. And this is just one of those things. And sometimes it will happen. Sometimes the technology will work just fine. Other times you might have to do a little bit of troubleshooting. I always recommend that you try to do that before a session. And that's whatever tool it is. There's lots of people out there doing webinars. You could be using GoToMeeting. You could be using Webinar Jam. Zoom is great because it is free. It has a free version. It has a 45-minute limit on that free version, but there's no limit to the people that can be on it. And as you can see, you can record, which is really nice. I love recording because you just never know what nuggets you're going to find in there or who's going to be a good person to see your recorded version later. And you don't always want to have to record or redo the same content every time. So you can have the video, you can share your screen, which I'm going to do here in just a few minutes. And then you also have a chat option so that when people are not talking with each other, or when the person is presenting, you can have your people chatting with you. So the video here is nice. And so just talking a little bit about what advantages this would have over Facebook Live is the fact that whoever's here and we enable video and video's working, we can see everybody in the same space. And that is a huge difference to Facebook Live, where it's still at this point, it is just whoever is on Facebook Live is the person who you are seeing, and then everyone has to chat. So I like being able to see people's faces and just kind of see their mannerisms a little bit, and when you're talking, especially when you're working virtually. All right. So let's see what we're going to do here next. And Kaylin, if you have any questions, just don't hesitate to ask, okay?
Alrighty.
Cool. All right. So what are some ways that you can use a webinar tool to grow your business? Well, we just kind of going back to the main point of using a webinar tool is because you're establishing a relationship with somebody. You are taking time to get to know them. They are taking time to get to know you. And it's all built around the KLT factor, which is know, like, and trust. And it's a huge deal when you don't get to physically see people. So this is a fabulous tool to be able to kind of mitigate those, physical challenges that might come up. And as we all know, video is hot. It's not going anywhere. It's going to continue to grow. And I'm sure we'll find some more challenges. One that I'm most concerned about is when creating video like this is using it to share with people who may have disabilities. So whether that's a hearing disability, so usually, hearing would be the biggest one, right? But so there's a lot of video content out there that's not considered ADA compliant. And so that's just something that's on my mind, because I want to make sure that everybody who watches anything that we do can have access to it. Okay, so I'm just going to open up a little Google. I just want to show you that this is a great screen sharing tool. You can basically show people how to do stuff. So we're going to talk a little, I'm going to create a Google Doc here. You might all be familiar with Google Docs pretty well. So
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't realize that you use Google Docs too. Nobody seems to use that anymore.
Really? Come on now.
Like, all the rag ladies seem to not want to use it. And I'm like, it's so easy to share documents and work on the same project. Why wouldn't you use it?
Well, yeah, it's fabulous for that reason. It's fabulous, so you could work on it together at the same time. So having the link, you could, it's really a no-brainer. There's a couple other tools out there, but I've just been using it for so long, it just makes sense. I mean, I also use it to make PowerPoints. You're probably familiar with that too.
Yep.
Yep. So, and so that brings up one point of how you can use a webinar tool is you can do a presentation for your business or your products. And, you know, I think planning webinars ahead of time is a great idea. So that way people have time to, you know, plug it into their calendar and then that way you also have time to kind of post little teaser posts throughout saying this is what we're going to cover in the presentation, so you get more engagement and more people that are, you know, that are coming. Hello, little one.
You want to say hi? Oh, you're going to be shy now.
Of course. Okay, so let me just see here how I want to do this. All right, let's just type it on here. So ways to use... Okay. So in this case, you could say you were wanting to, someone was wanting to, okay, so we talked about webinars, right? You can use webinars to promote your product or service. You can record it and share it later. You can record your screen or share your screen, right? Like I'm doing it right now to teach others how to do things that they might need to know how to do. So for example, if you have a new prospect or a new builder on your team and you need to kind of show them the, you know, the back office or whatever, you know, your company calls it. That way you can kind of just go through and say, now you need to click here, you need to click here, you need to click there. So it's a really great way, you know, to meet with somebody, even if it's somebody who's local to you and it's just really hard to get, you know, to that meeting time, you can still use this tool. And then we also talked about the KLT factor, which is know, like, and trust. And I know that this one is kind of like a baseline, a foundation of doing anything, building your company or business online. And that it all has to revolve around that, building relationships and getting people to know, like, and trust you. And not everybody's going to come to you to find out how to know you. and then they might come and find out and they might not like you. And that's okay. You know, it's like not everybody is going to like everybody. And that really is okay. So another way to do this to build your business is actually just to use the tool to connect with them and to communicate. So you have somebody who's interested in joining your company and being part of your team because they have gotten to know you a bit and they're interested in what you're doing. And so you can use this tool to have a one-on-one, or even, you know, you could have somebody from your upline on the call if that's helpful, especially if you're newer and you just want to feel that kind of, you know, support. So you can have somebody who's on the call with you. And you can have a three-way call, but have each other's face on there, which is lovely. And you can kind of just go through what it means to be on your team. And I have definitely had the opportunity to recruit people using this tool, which is quite lovely. If you're planning on building online, you need to know how to use quite a few different tools. But you do want to keep it simple. So, you know, that whole thing, KISS, keep it simple, always. I don't ever use the word stupid. So just keep it simple and make sure that, you know, whatever you kind of have to know your audience too. So if you think that somebody may be technically challenged, you might want to use something more like Skype, but just make sure that they have Skype. Does the same basic thing. You cannot record in Skype unless you have a special feature. So if it's something though where you're just making connection with them, just having a conversation about what your business is about, that's a perfectly good tool. Or even FaceTime if you both have FaceTime. So again, Zoom is more of a sharing webinar tool. You could also use it for your team meetings if you have team meetings and you want to be able to see, you know, everybody in the same place. And so that's really great. There's another way that you can use this tool, and that is to host or do a presentation at a space that is away from you. So say, you know, you live in one state and you have somebody else in another state that's building with you or is willing to do or host a class for you, depending on what you sell. So it just depends on what you're selling. But you could, in advance, you could send your products as samples to the host in another state. And then you could be the virtual person that's leading the class, you know, through the webinar tool. But whoever's hosting the class is the one that's sort of like facilitating, passing around the different products, letting people get their hands on them and that sort of stuff. And it's just really, really easy to go ahead and get engagement, you know, going through this tool, because you're basically, you know, you're still there in essence, just not in physical form. So product, presentations. So those are my main points for today. It was really just going to be short and sweet, because, you know, this is our first time doing it. Did you have any questions, Kaylin, or thoughts that you want to share?
Nothing really at this moment. I'm still going to be looking into it, trying to figure out why in the world my stuff won't work. But once I figure that out, I probably will have some questions.
That sounds great. And so just so any of you who are watching this recording, this is the first, as I mentioned, at the Learn It Live sessions, and we'll have these weekly. They'll just be quick, you know, half hour to 45-minute, you know, touch bases. And then I do have some people that I'm connecting with. One in particular that you might want to be in tune about is how to build your brand online. It's one of those things that you until you're like really ready, you might think it's important, but it really is important. And so I will be teaming up with some other great experts in these different areas, things like marketing funnels. I know many of you have been interested in blogging and finding out how to get that going. So this is what this is going to focus on going forward. And so I will keep you up to date each week on what the topic will be and who our guest speaker will be too. And sometimes you'll get me, but I'll try to bring in as many people as possible. All right. So I guess that's it. We'll sign off, and thanks for showing up. And if you need any help, Kaylin, just let me know. Sound good?
Alrighty. Thank you.
Thanks.
See you later.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. And for anybody else who has just watched this video, please feel free to leave a comment. Let me know if this is valuable to you. Let me know what you might like to know more about as we are going here. I'm totally open to ideas. And what are your questions? All right. So we'll keep using Zoom for now. And most people don't really have any issues getting signed on using audio and video. Sometimes it's just one of those little fluky little click of a buttons, you know. So I will let you go now, and can't wait to hear from you.